Wednesday.
It feels exactly like it is. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome in. Glad you're here. 314-436-7900. Join our show by calling and texting. Voice messages on the Odyssey app. You can leave them there. And if you leave a message and decide, hey, I'm not finished, and then you want to leave another one, you could do that too if you like. Also, watch us. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
So Franklin County, at least for the moment, is not going through with plans on a new data center. This after a pretty tense meeting last night with citizens.
And AI is in the news. The new, quote, age prediction feature is now in ChatGPT. AI is the focus in Davos at the World Economic Forum. We'll chat with Ian Scher, CBS Tech reporter.
Billikens did it again. They won over Duquesne. They now have 18 wins on the season, and former Cardinal Carlos Beltran is now in the Hall of Fame. How about that?
Wow.
And yes, Amy, mark scores last night in Franklin County. The people spoke.
We now have 4,039 signatures opposing this. I would just like to share this with you guys, and personally, I just don't want this near my home and to ruin the home that I grew up in.
So there it is. That data center that is on the docket is not going to happen. At least they're tabling the conversation on it for 6 months. And so this is it's not just about Franklin County. It's about data centers at large, because there have been multiple attempts in different places around St. Louis to build them. St. Charles, Franklin County, the Armory building, which got a lot of pushback from residents who live there. And as I have said before, at this point, I am not a 100% anti-data center person, because I know it's coming. I know it's the future. It's unavoidable. They are everywhere. We're one of the only markets in the country that hasn't really embraced it at all. I mean, they're all over the country right now. It's just that there are places where they probably don't belong. And I had a very visceral reaction to them proposing putting it in the Armory, which is right in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
It, to me, is a much better location for a meeting place. We have too many, in my opinion, in St. Louis and in the St. Louis area, we have too many really nice places, good locations that are not being utilized as gathering spots. And the Armory used to be a gathering spot. And to put a data center there would be a travesty to me, because we need more. We need more stuff for people to go do, and a data center is not that. That doesn't mean data centers don't have their uses and shouldn't be utilized in certain places.
Yeah, we've talked about this. We keep using the word dystopian because they are, and they just suck up the energy and the resources in that area. Not only are they aesthetically off-putting, but they can be loud. They often generate a constant hum, and when the data centers surge, that hum can be over 100 decibels, which is like a loud motorcycle. So this meeting at the Franklin County Planning and Zoning Commission, people were jammed into the room. They brought in extra folding chairs. People still spilled out into the hallways and adjacent rooms. More than 600 people were watching the meeting at some points in the evening, which is a lot of viewers for a Franklin County meeting, in the same way it would be a lot of viewers for a St. Louis County Council meeting. That's just not something people log into for fun. And so they had people talking, giving their testimony for 4 hours. And as St. Louis Magazine points out, just about every comment was negative for 4 hours about the proposal and the data center in general. One man did talk about how loud being near a data center is, and how it, like he said, it's like the sound of a motorcycle at times, 100 decibels, where imagine you're outside barbecuing, and this was one of the examples they gave, and there's just this loud hum that's as loud as your voice talking to your neighbor constantly. Now, there were some restrictions for the data center. The proposed regulations included a minimum 400-foot setback of all buildings, equipment, and accessory structures from property lines, which that 400-foot setback would increase to 1,000 feet for data centers next to areas that are broadly zoned for residential housing, public parks, and agriculture, as well as other similar uses. And I can tell you, being close to certain ugly structures myself over the course of my life, 400 feet and then 1,000 feet is not that far. Especially 400 feet is not that far. That's further than a football field. It's a football field and a third. Yeah.
Right.
And so people were understandably very, very upset. As we get Sherman Smith, he testified that 2.5 decades he spent working in data centers caused the loss of his hearing. He goes, quote, "Do you think that low hum doesn't do anything to you consistently?" And so he's saying that this hurt him working there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there could be protections for workers. There are people who have done manual labor who work in loud factories who have to wear ear protection. That part is not a big deal, and something that, at least for those who work in them, that could be rectified. That's not the kind of thing I think we have to worry about. What you do have to worry about more is the effect on whatever community is nearby. And as long as, and I said this yesterday when we talked about it, because these are inevitable, they are going to happen. They're going to continue to build them around the country. And whether we like it or not, they're coming to St. Louis. Just don't know where they're going to be, you know? So it's all about the communities that they are nearby. And there has to be a real guarantee from whatever data center company is coming in. There has to be real, actual legal guarantees that the strain on water won't happen. The strain on power is not going to affect them, and costs are not going to go up for people in the area, and that they will offset those costs or do everything possible to make sure those resources aren't strained. And then give the residents legal recourse if those things actually happen. You know,
right.
if those resources are strained, then the residents have legal recourse where they can force those companies into fixing the problem and then incurring all the costs for it.
Because as we talked about this yesterday, and as we heard from some texters, very cynical that the promises or guarantees made by these companies are actually trustworthy. And we mentioned the area, the residents in Franklin County that would be within proximity of this data center. Well, the data center is also, note, directly next to the Missouri Botanical Gardens Shaw Nature Reserve. Now, yesterday, we did have a pro-data center texter from Warrenton who said, hey, we need the data center. We could use the tax money and the jobs. And the issue of jobs was brought up in the meeting yesterday.
This will bring hundreds of construction jobs to the area. And that is a fact. And that is,
Please let the gentleman speak.
as far as the Labor Committee, that is what we are concerned about, bringing good paying jobs to Franklin County.
Obviously, you could hear the people in Franklin County weren't necessarily buying that was either a good argument or an argument that would outweigh the risks or the downsides of having the data center, because yes, it could bring construction jobs, but ultimately that is temporary. You build the data center and it's done.
I think in a lot of cases they overstate how much work comes in as a result of the data center. I don't think it's I think when it's said, it's almost said as if, yeah, we're adding hundreds of permanent jobs to the area. Well, that's not, you know, I know they're not saying permanent jobs, but I think they're trying to imply that, or they think people think that. And then you'd say, oh, well, if there's more work coming to the area, then great. But the reality is it would be temporary, and then those jobs would go away. But that's also not to say that there aren't real benefits for very specific places in St. Louis or in any area. I've spoken with the mayor of Granite City about this off the air, and he is becoming a proponent of adding data centers near Granite City. And that might be a place, depending on where they put it exactly, where it would help that area. Because if, as everyone is well aware, the main industry in that city is the steel mill, and it had been for generations. Well, that's evaporating because the operations there have slimmed down dramatically over the years and continue to do so. That city needs to find something else to help it keep going. So I think for a case like that, it might make more sense. I don't think it makes sense to put it in the Armory where you're just a few blocks away from SLU.
I mentioned the texter from Warrenton who said he wants the data center. We have another texter who said the Warrenton Board of Aldermen approved the data center in Warrenton, just northwest of town along the highway. Again, this is what the texter says. And we know that it's going to continue to be a topic of conversation for communities from the city of St. Louis out to Franklin County, Jefferson County, because Jefferson County and Festus was in the headlines just a few days ago because the Festus City Council overwhelmingly approved rezoning several hundred acres for a data center located near Highway 67. And they did this last month. But then KMOV Channel 4 learned through a Sunshine Act that the city leaders in Festus had been discussing the potential data center with developers for months back in the fall. This was prior to the city approving regulations, which means the project was not public. So the people in Festus didn't have a chance to show up at the council meeting and say, we don't want this proposed data center. And you are not allowed to have these secret email meetings. I think it's called a walking quorum, where you're getting official business done, but on the down low.
Right.
And I think they knew, obviously, you would guess that they figured there would be some pushback. Why else would you do all of this on the down low? But then it turned into a very heated discussion. Happy.
Well, of course they're not happy because of all the things that you could possibly build. This is one of those where you need to have the approval of the community. And if you're not getting that, if you're doing it under the table and they are upset with you, they have every right to be. So, again, data centers not avoidable. They're coming. They're here. The Warrenton Board of Aldermen, like a texter points out, they have approved it. So it's going to happen there. They will start to pop up. The people just have to have a say. Wherever these places go, they have to have a say in them. And
we want to hear from you at 314-436-7900. As we go to break, Ranj, I know you talked to the mayor of Granite City. Did you have any vibe of the people of Granite City if they wanted the data center? No,
I haven't really.
Okay.
It's very new to me.
Yeah.
Just something I talked about it with him a couple of days ago. So I think, we'll probably have him on and get his thoughts on it. I know that he has been approached by some companies to have that done, or the possibility of having that done. And of course, the people in Granite will have a say. And that's the way it should be. It should be that way everywhere these data centers go in. But again, they're coming, and I don't think there's much we could do to hold them off. We are going to talk to Ian Scher, tech reporter for CBS, at 9:30. We could talk about this. We'll talk about OpenAI and more on 104.1 FM KMOX.
How many of you think taxes will go up in the future? And if they do, who will get hit the hardest? Maybe it's you, headed for retirement. You've been saving in that 401k or IRA for years, and that money has never been taxed. And Uncle Sam is looking at that account like it's a big, juicy steak. What can you do about it? Join the All Financial Group for their Taxes in Retirement Seminar, Thursday, January 22nd or Tuesday the 27th. They believe a financial plan is not a retirement plan without a tax plan. Reserve your spot today by calling 636-230-8824. That's 636-230-8824. Or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents nor representatives may offer tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with their qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
We get it. Attention spans just aren't what they used to be. Heads in social media and eyes on Netflix. But what do people do with their ears? Well, for one, they're listening to audio. Americans spend 4.4 hours with audio every day. Oh, and you want the proof? Well, you just sat through this ad that's now approaching 30 seconds. What could you say to a potential customer in 30 seconds? Let Odyssey put together a media plan tailor-made for your unique marketing needs. Advertise with Odyssey. Visit ads.odyssey.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
This year, I'm giving my hair salon a total makeover.
Total makeover sounds totally expensive.
We updated our logo and colors, so I needed to print new signage, brochures, business cards, everything.
Everything will not be cheap.
Staples did it all, and I saved $100 on my order.
$100? Trim my whiskers, that's a good deal. For everything your business needs to print, let's go Staples.
That was easy.
Offer valid in-store and online. Ends 1/31. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming app university that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Hello, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe. Congratulations, KMOX, on your 100th anniversary. We're so excited that you've continued to be an important fabric and part of the St. Louis area.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, 9 to noon every day. Then the Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock. And guess who's back? Tom Ackerman, who is done with his bender, his national championship bender. His football team, Indiana, won the whole damn thing yesterday. So congrats to Tom, and he'll be here to talk about it today. And we're glad we'll talk college football, obviously. We'll get into some baseball, a lot of things to discuss. Gas House Gang at 12. Until then, it's Chris and Amy. We were just talking about the data centers and in Franklin County, how they've hit pause on one. Doesn't mean it's not ever going to happen, but at least for a few months, that conversation has been tabled. Let's bring in Sam from St. Paul, Missouri, which is northwest of O'Fallon, Missouri. I just found that out. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
What's up?
Every construction worker, the first day on his job, he's trying to put himself out of work. We build buildings, and we go to another job. And if there's no jobs, we have to go out of town to work, which I don't know how many of you spent weeks or months in a motel, go to work, go to the motel. I mean, it's not fun, but that is no way to be against these data centers, that those jobs are temporary. Every construction job is temporary.
Oh no, that's a great point. That's a really good point.
It will bring a lot of jobs to a lot of people after the building is built, and all they can do is make the infrastructure much, much better to supply everything. Nobody's going to be hurt.
Well, Sam, and we appreciate the phone call. I'm not saying that it brings no work to St. Louis. I think what I'm telling you is, I think what the proponents of data centers, I think they maybe mislead the folks they're trying to convince by telling them this is going to bring hundreds of jobs to St. Louis. And when you hear that, your thought is, oh, well, we're adding a bunch of people to the workforce. That is great. They're not saying, yeah, it's temporary, and then those people are going to leave. And then, yes, there are going to be people who have to work at the data centers, but for the amount of space they take up, there aren't really that many people who work in them at any given time.
And I do think, I know I have been unfortunately tainted by cynicism when you hear promises, because every proposal that's made, whether it be a business, whether it be the casinos, sports gambling, whatever it is, they always come with these promises that this is going to be so good for you. Right. This is going to be great. The money's going to go to the schools, the children. Think of the children. The jobs are going to be great. And there are all these promises, and it's very difficult to sift through and say, well, if everything is trade-offs and there's a benefit and there's a downside, there's a risk, there's a reward, which of these promises are true, are going to pan out and will be worth having, whatever it may be, casinos, sports gambling, data centers. You have to look at that, and it is hard to sift through it because promises can sound great, but promises are also broken all the time. Yeah,
and for casinos' case, that does employ hundreds of people, and it's been permanent since they've been built. That's one of the differences we're talking about here. Data centers won't necessarily be that. But yeah, we do understand that construction jobs are temporary. You come in, you build the thing, and then you go somewhere else where it's time to build another thing. That's obvious, but we appreciate the phone call. 314-436-7900. CBS tech reporter Ian Scher will join the show when we come back on 104.1 FM KMOX.
January in St. Louis isn't for hot takes. It's for people who know the game. From Cardinals spring training and NFL playoffs to the transfer portal and the Blues playoff push, the Gas House Gang breaks it all down. Ackerman, Ranji, Miklas, and Claiborne have covered it all, and they break it down the right way.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Daily at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, America's Sports Voice.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, my official sportsbook as well. And they have turned on playoff mode. All customers of FanDuel can get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. So each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. And more boosts just means more ways to level up your playoff bets. So pick the matchups you believe in if you like winner or loser or just the point spreads. Maybe take a shot on an upset. I'm actually looking at the under in a couple of opportunities this week. You could build a parlay that fits the moment. However you want to do it, it's up to you. And then you apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs continue to roll. So visit FanDuel.com/Missouri and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Remember, 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token, and restrictions apply, including any token expiration or max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800 894-7722.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, it's sunny and it's warmer today, so that's good. Currently, it is 41 degrees. Enjoy it before it gets really cold this weekend. A high of 47 today. Tonight, partly cloudy and a low of 22. Weather sponsored by the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Need a new garage door? Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com. Deadline to enter is at the end of the month. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduced stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Martin Luther King was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight.
From moment to memory.
It's a strike call! A no-hitter for Gibson!
Among those voices, Charlie Brennan.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about, despite our listeners' letters to the contrary.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX. It is time to go to the guest line this morning. CBS Tech reporter Ian Scher, friend of the show, is with us right now. Ian, appreciate you. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
We're doing okay. We just spent about a half hour talking about data centers. We've had all sorts of proposals that have been popping up all over the St. Louis area, and residents, in many of the cases, have shouted them down, basically, at least so far. Just, can we get your thoughts on a data center in general? And I know there are all kinds of opinions on them on both sides, and pretty strong opinions, actually. But how do you feel about them and how they affect communities, either good or bad?
Well, there's definitely a lot of conversation to be had. And part of the reason is because of the very real and legitimate concerns people have about the cost of a data center, not just for the tech companies, right? They're willing to pay the billions of dollars, but for you and me and everyone else, right? We've seen that in some communities, energy prices have spiked. We've seen that access to vital utilities, including water, could be affected. And, of course, there's also the eyesore that a lot of these data centers are. So there's a lot of debate to be had. I think it's interesting that you're seeing some tech companies try to respond to this. Microsoft in particular, for example, has said that it will invest in communities and effectively try to be a good neighbor. Whether or not we all agree they are is another conversation, of course. And now there's even talk from the White House of making tech companies pay even more for energy, which would offset, of course, the higher energy costs many of us are feeling, and not to mention the nuclear reactors and other projects that tech companies are starting to fund that hopefully will help to reduce this energy need. But at the end of the day, the key question is, what is the cost of modernization and technology? And we've asked this question for a long time, right? We were tearing up our cities to put in fiber lines decades ago, and there was debate about that. I'm sure that we're going to continue debating the value and good of AI. And the one thing we do know is that this tech stuff, the closer it is to your home, the better it works. So for a lot of these communities, it's not just about what do they want in their backyard. It's about whether or not the technology is going to work well for them. And if it's something they need for the future, how do we make sure they have access to it without it being an annoyance?
Well, we know that a lot of these data centers are centered in big markets like in Northern Virginia, Silicon Valley in California, Dallas, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona. Have we learned anything from the data centers that are in those areas and how they do affect the people around them?
Well, we know energy prices are a real concern, and that is a growing issue, particularly in Pennsylvania. They had a spike in their energy prices in some cities. There's also the water runoff. Water is used to cool a lot of these data centers, in part because if you do it correctly, it's cheaper than using AC and better for the environment. But the gray water is not something you can drink exactly, right? The water that's been used to cool the computers. And so there's this whole conversation about, well, there's only so much clean water to go around. And how do we make sure that the people who need water every day have access to it? And we don't want to repeat a lot of the mistakes that led to stuff like PG&E and Aaron Brockovich decades ago, right? And a lot of these large utility companies running roughshod over communities and not making sure that they're all being safe. And so there's a lot of that conversation happening. Unfortunately, of course, those large cities have dealt with a lot of these questions, right? In the smaller areas, including, kind of your backyard, they haven't had to debate these things as much. So for many of them, it's a new conversation, and they're having to learn as there's increasing pressure on them. And that's really frustrating as well.
These data centers, and artificial intelligence and everything that we use daily is all kind of rolled in together, which is why it's difficult to head off that momentum, because we know they're going to be here. We know there are going to be more of them that are built over time. But now let's shift to artificial intelligence, because there is this age prediction thing that ChatGPT is expecting to implement, and it's going to restrict what minors are able to have access to. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so, in the conversation about how social media and technology impacts mental health, and in particular mental health of young people, there's been this effort among tech companies to try and restrict access in a way that at least makes sense, right? A lot of people, I'm sure at least one person who lied about their age to get on Facebook when they were really younger than they were supposed to be, and they got a Facebook page. Back then, Facebook didn't do much about it. But now, YouTube, Facebook, and a bunch of others have implemented these age kind of detection systems that kind of understand what a teenager or a child is likely to do on their systems, and identifies whether or not an account holder is likely a child and can kick in protections. So now ChatGPT has a similar thing where if they believe that the person using this account is younger, they will add safeguards that will keep it from creating gory content or having racy conversations or even involving, suggesting viral challenges that could be risky or harmful or stuff like that. So in a lot of ways, ChatGPT says, look, we don't know for sure who's on the other end of the account, but if we suspect that it's a child or someone who's underage, we're going to restrict it until you can prove that you are actually an adult.
It's so interesting that legislation and the law surrounding technology always vastly lags behind the technology. And I know with these algorithms and what you were saying, that the content that's being suggested, there's been discussion in the Supreme Court whether or not these algorithmic suggestions qualify as speech. Because if you were in a park and you walked up to a kid who did not, search anything, just sitting there on the bench and said, here, look at these graphic images, you would be in trouble. You're not allowed to do that. And with these algorithms, sometimes violent content, self-harm, sexual content is popping up even with kids not searching anything. And they're saying at some point we have to hold these adults accountable for suggesting this type of content to kids.
Yes, and part of the issue as well is that, these things, of course, are designed to make money. And, we know this from music and from Hollywood and from books. The more explicit stuff is the stuff that sells. And same thing for these algorithms. People are going to interact more with stuff that is, as some people use the word, spicier, right? And so part of the real challenge is that as these companies tune these algorithms for interaction, right, and to encourage us to use them more, they are running up against the reality of, well, a lot of this stuff is not stuff we would feel comfortable showing to children. And walking that line has become incredibly tough. Now, that doesn't make it okay for the tech companies to screw up. And in fact, part of the conversation has become that not only are these companies, increasingly expected to do the right thing, but a lot of them have also gotten rid of the teams that are designed to help solve some of these problems, because those teams were swept up in stuff like moderation and other conversations that have since become not popular in pop culture. And so, a lot of those moderation teams are gone. A lot of the researchers who were working on this stuff have been put out of a job or assigned to other things. And now we're in this situation where, in some cases, children are being shown stuff we're not comfortable with. And the companies are kind of shrugging their shoulders and saying, well, you didn't want us to police our content. We're not doing it. Now you're not happy.
And we are speaking with Ian Scher, CBS tech reporter here on KMOX. One of the concerns about artificial intelligence is that it will get out of control, that we won't be able to reel it in any meaningful way. And so then therefore here in this country, we should do something about it. But that doesn't prevent other countries from, allowing it to grow however they want to, exponentially, without any sort of guardrails at all. So what do we do about that? If we want to rein it in so that it isn't, putting kids or people in danger in any way, but other countries are not really worried about doing that, what can be done?
Well, part of the conversation has been restricting the access to technology. So, a lot of those chips that power AI right now are designed in the United States, not all of them, and then they are manufactured primarily in Asia. So there's been a conversation about restricting the sale of them by telling these American companies like NVIDIA, hey, even if those chips never show up in the United States, if you sell them to countries we don't like, we will punish you. And that has been effective to some degree. But there is increasing efforts and also indications that that is not working, right? And that the countries that want access to this technology, including China, including North Korea, Russia, are getting access regardless of the efforts we are making. And so in a lot of ways, people are starting to think of this in terms of something similar to the way we've been talking about nuclear issues, right? Which is that we have to have governments come together and come to agreements and, essentially really have international diplomacy handle this. And when it comes to a lot of the Western world, that is working, right? A lot of European countries agree on standards. They've been doing that for quite a while. A lot of other Asian countries have been agreeing as well. But when you look at the countries that are adversarial, that is where the real concern is. And unfortunately, that's something that it seems right now, the White House has been more focused on American improvement of AI rather than controlling how other countries are using it. And that's come a conversation like this week during the World Economic Forum, where some CEOs are saying, look, you've got to be more restrictive of these chips being sold, even though, in fact, the White House has been opening up and allowing more chips to be sold.
Yeah, that has been a big conversation in Davos, as you mentioned. The two biggest topics of conversation have been Greenland and AI. And even like some of the godfathers of AI are warning about its dangers, but specifically to what you said about controlling, what these geopolitical adversaries are doing with AI and their access to chips. One guy at Davos, one of the experts, said that giving H200 processors to Beijing is like selling nukes to North Korea. But as you mentioned, President Trump said last week he would allow advanced AI chip exports to China.
Yeah, and look, the reality is that part of this is the issue of business, right? NVIDIA, which is I think it is currently the world's most highly valued company, or at various points is the most highly valued. They say, look, we are leaving a lot of money on the table by not selling these chips to China, and it's affecting our ability to be a business, right? That's bad capitalism. And so that's one pressure the White House is feeling. The other pressure also is the sense that there's not really any way to control how these chips are going to get out there. And there's a lot of investigative reporting that's been done by companies like Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal, Reuters, New York Times, that has shown that these chips are getting out to China and Korea and whatnot, regardless of what we are trying to do. So there's a lot of really interesting nuance to it all. And of course, again, it comes down to, look, it's not so much an issue of whether or not you hear Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice in the background. That is a concern, right? Whether or not the Terminator type of stuff could happen. But there's also even larger things like hacking has become much more prevalent because AI makes it that much easier, right? And we already have a large hacking issue across the internet and across the world, right? We've seen energy substations being hacked, and we've seen corporate companies being hacked, and we've seen government databases. So there's real implications in all of this. And in a lot of ways, it feels like that we're not really in control of it.
Ian Scher, we love talking to you. Thank you so much for being with us again.
Absolutely.
Ian is the tech reporter for CBS News, visiting with us here on 104.1 FM KMOX. Did you see this is coming up next? And will you see the playoffs this weekend? I'm sure you will, because it's the divisional round, not the divisional round. Take that back. That just happened. It is the championship round. That means 2 games, 4 teams, and the winner is going to the Super Bowl. And the winners going to the Super Bowl. And FanDuel has turned on playoff mode again, which means all customers are getting a profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day that's been going on and will continue. And in the championship round, you're going to find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the FanDuel app. You can go with the matchup you like. You can pick the favorites or the underdog, build a parlay. Whatever you are feeling in the moment, go right ahead. And for me, I'm really liking Seattle to win at home against the Rams. Then you can apply that profit boost and go after an even bigger payout. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel.com/Missouri. 21 plus and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Start your engine, St. Louis. The St. Louis Auto Show is back, and it's bigger, faster, and more exciting than ever. See the latest cars, trucks, SUVs, and electric vehicles, all at the Gamerica Center January 22nd through 25th. From cutting-edge technology to luxury rides and family favorites, this is the ultimate auto experience. Whether you consider yourself a car enthusiast or not, this event has something for everyone. More information at KMOX.com/events.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra brings the sweet nostalgia and soul-shattering passion of Tchaikovsky's Fourth Symphony to life this January. This energetic program also features performer Wu Wei, playing a stunning concerto on the sheng, a mouth organ and one of the oldest known Chinese instruments. Don't miss this unique program. January 24th and 25th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising. Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Michael's Baths. Were you feeling a little embarrassed when the family came to visit for the holidays and all you could think about was your bathroom not quite being up to par? Now is the perfect time to plan ahead for a spring installation of a beautiful new bathroom. At Michael's Baths, we specialize in beautiful, safe bathroom remodels from tub to shower conversions to full renovations, including paint and electrical work. Call 636-775-0800 or go to michaelsbaths.com. Mike is a great guy, does great work. That's michaelsbaths.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Ranj,
Yeah.
did you see this? It is.
I've seen Mary Poppins.
It's a great day to be a chimney sweep. Apparently, as energy prices rise, over in London, the UK,
Don't.
Londoners are turning to wood-burning stoves and fireplaces, which means chimney sweeps are back in style, baby. According to the New York Times, membership to the UK's Chimney Sweeps Association has climbed to 750 people from 590 in 2021. And H. Firkins & Sons, which is a chimney sweep company.
What's that again? Say it again.
H. Firkin & Sons.
H. Firkin?
Yes.
That is Firkin amazing.
H, the letter H.
I love that.
And then Firkins. H. Firkins & Sons is a chimney sweep company.
Firkin & Sons.
Yeah, that dates back to 1860, meaning that Charles Dickens, my favorite guy, might have used Firkins to clean his chimney. They're getting 70 to 80 calls a day.
Oh, no.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But they said the good news is the president of the Chimney Sweeps Association told the New York Times, quote, "We don't send little boys up the chimneys anymore. Now it's CCTV."
They used to? What?
Yes. They used to put little skinny little boys up in the chimneys, but now it's CCTV.
Okay, well, I didn't know they did that with kids.
Yeah.
That's child labor.
Well, that's what Charles Dickens wrote about. They did
My
it.
God.
All the kids did all the work in London in the 1800s. That's why all he wrote about was the Dickensian urchin.
The urchin. Did you know? This is more of a did you know that the winter storm has a name?
No, but I heard it's going to be, quote, catastrophic.
Yeah, we're not going to get the catastrophic part of the storm, but it's going to be pretty bad.
Is it Firkins?
No, it is close. It is Winter Storm Fern.
Fern?
Yes.
That's
Winter Storm Fern.
That sounds
Yeah.
very hippie. Like,
I didn't
this
know
is
they-
my son, Fern. We only eat organic food.
Did you even know they named winter storms? I didn't know that.
Well, they name every other kind of storm.
So they are telling people across the U.S., 200 million Americans are warned to brace for the coldest winter storm ever.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, so it's some places, not St. Louis,
Okay.
but in some places they're talking about up to 18 inches of snow, as we mentioned yesterday.
That was the rumor.
Because one
my
of your
heard.
friends saw the report of
Yeah.
the storm coming, but didn't realize it didn't mean here. So we are going to get snow this weekend, but it's not expected to be anything like that. And what did we hear from AccuWeather yesterday? It was up to 3 inches. And the forecast could
really?
change, of course, but about 1 to 3.
See, I had only heard like 1 inch of snow. What I did hear is that Saturday, the high is 12 degrees.
Yeah, that's not going to be great.
The low is 1. So Friday night into Saturday will be 1 degree. So it'll be very chilly. But, that's okay.
I don't mind. You have a
dress
coat.
warm.
Wear a coat.
Now,
And
the
if-
people who
and-
have to work outside,
That's right. And
That
there are
can be
people
tough.
who don't. This is a perfect time to be checking on the
Yes.
elderly, check on
Yeah.
neighbors that you might be worried about. Make sure they're warm. Make sure they have heat. People in your life, people that you're maybe not necessarily in your life, but you're aware of, check on them, okay? And good time to donate a coat, too. You should do that. Hour 2 of the show is coming up next, and we heard something in the office today, and it made us think, all right, we all have cheap behaviors. We all have things that we do that are inherently cheap and kind of embarrassing because we're trying to save money. And we heard some guy in this room mention something he did, and we're going to talk about that. And we want to know what yours is. What is your cheap behavior that you don't need to do, but you do it anyway? Let us know when we come back on KMOX.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
This is John Pertzborn with Ben and Gentry for HeatUpSt.Louis.org.
We're the Golden Boys!
For the 26th Rise and Shine benefit.
It's Friday, February 13th.
Your lucky day to volunteer.
Or buy a sausage or egg biscuit for $1.
At participating area Hardee's.
It's HeatUpSt.Louis.org to also pre-order. That's HeatUp, STLOUIS.org.
Put the biscuits down, Ben.
Oi!
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It is 10 o'clock, and right now in downtown St. Louis, we've got sunshine and 40 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. A huge crowd last night in Union over a proposed data center next to Shaw Nature Reserve. The Franklin County Planning and Zoning Commission decided to put a pause on the whole thing for 6 months. Meanwhile, Warrenton approved a data center last night, and the city of Festus is being sued over their process creating regulations around data centers.
The lawsuit accuses city officials of predetermining the outcome of the public engagement process regarding ordinances and zoning, along with the annexation of a property for the purpose of developing a large-scale data center. It accuses the Festus City Council members of violating the Sunshine Law by holding illegal closed meetings and using the city administrator as an intermediary to relay information amongst themselves and to circumvent establishing a quorum. The lawsuit accuses city officials of discussing how to manage opposition and limit dissenting voices. The lawsuit is filed by Jesse Conover, a candidate for city councilor. He said in a statement to KMOX this lawsuit is about Sunshine Law violations and declined to elaborate. City Administrator Greg Camp said they are declining to comment at this time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
President Trump says he will not use force to acquire Greenland, even though he says it's part of North America and calls it our territory. Trump was speaking at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, where he criticized Europe for a number of things and pointed out what he perceives as Europe's failures. House Republicans are pushing to hold former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in contempt of Congress over the Jeffrey Epstein files. Here's ranking member of the House Oversight Committee, Representative Robert Garcia.
Epstein himself said that Donald Trump was his best friend for over 10 years. And it is shameful, illegal, and unconstitutional that the Department of Justice has released 1% of the files. 1% of the files.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to review Missouri's Durnell case involving a jury award of $1.25 million to a plaintiff who sued Bayer over its Roundup product.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young explains what's at issue.
Can states' requirements to label products, can that override federal law, which federal law has already what's called preempted the area when it comes to labeling of insecticides?
Young predicts the High Court will likely strike many of the verdicts against Bayer and send the cases back to trial courts. He says jurors there would not be able to consider state labeling laws about risk of use. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
Bayer says it welcomes the Supreme Court review and anticipates a decision before the end of June.
Bright sunshine and breezy this afternoon, the high 49. Breezy and turning colder tonight. Clear early, some clouds late, though 21. Tomorrow, sun through some high clouds, the high temperature 40. For Friday, breezy and dramatically colder with clouds and limited sun, or high just 12. AccuWeather real field temperatures below zero. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is sunny and 40 degrees right now in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
All right, so hour 2 of the show is happening. There are 3 of these hours, and you have to be here for all of them, and there will be a quiz when we are finished. We were in the office today, And Amy Marks Kors and I are normal people. We have no idiosyncrasies or oddities.
Well, I would be careful with the brush stroke there.
And our producer, Matt Pajeski.
Who's adorable.
What?
Adorable's not the word.
Yes, he is. His brown shoes. Have you seen his brown shoes?
Yeah, I've seen the brown shoes. He's, there's something about him. There's something. I don't know what it is.
Is
Is
it because he's an 85-year-old man in a 25-year-old body?
Yeah.
But 85-year-old clothes?
Yeah.
Come on. Khakis. Yeah, no one's ever worn khakis under 80 before.
He does it. He's kind of got the intern uniform. You know, khakis
I love
and a polo.
No, he's the only person who dresses professionally. Matt, do not take fashion advice from a man who thinks an Under Armour half zip is haute couture.
I don't think an Under Armour half zip is couture. I just wear it because I don't care about you people, and I don't care how you see me. So I'm listening to Matt Pajeski talk with his face, and he says something. We look over. He's got his.
He's on the run. I said it first.
Okay.
I said it first.
Okay.
That's how this conversation
Congratulations,
started.
Amy. You said it first. So Matt has a coffee cup from Mobile on the Run.
Yeah.
And as you may know or not know, Mobile on the Run on Blues game days gives away free coffee. And
as I was walking out, I said, "Oh, you have your Mobile on the Run because it's game day." And
Yes,
you
Amy.
said,
I don't know, but now I'm thrown off.
It's not game day. It's not game day. That's how this all started.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. We would have gotten there.
It's the same story.
I know. Just shh.
The same story.
So Matt Pajeski has this coffee from Mobile on the Run, and we know that he goes on Blues game days and he gets the free coffee.
Yeah,
which is fine. There's nothing. Of course, you're going to take advantage of free coffee.
Obviously.
Why wouldn't you? But as Amy pointed out, it is not Blues game day, which means the coffee is not free, which means he did not go get coffee today.
Yeah.
Which means that coffee is from yesterday.
Mhm.
It's in a Mobile on the Run disposable cup. It's not one of those that you keep.
It's foamy.
It's foam.
Styrofoam, yeah.
Styrofoam.
So we asked him, is that from yesterday, this coffee? And he said,
yes.
Gross.
Hey, it could have been 2 games ago.
He put it. Is it?
No, it's from yesterday.
There's so many gross elements about this that it's coffee from yesterday is okay. That's okay. But the fact that it's still in this styrofoam cup.
In a refrigerator, though.
And so Matt put it in the refrigerator overnight, and he took. Did you warm it up today?
Of course, I microwaved it.
Okay, so
Not the styrofoam cup, though, did you?
I have some morals, but no, I poured it into a mug and microwaved it today.
And then you put it back into the styrofoam cup.
Yeah.
Okay, so he put a coffee from Mobile on the Run yesterday in the fridge, reheated it today, and brought it to work. And immediately I thought of the one episode of Extreme Cheapskates. Does anybody remember this show?
There's one episode that I saw that I still think about. This might be the same one.
Which one is it?
It is where she would scrape the bottom of her deodorant and then put it in a pot and make a new stick with all the old deodorant clippings.
I don't know. It might be.
It bothered me
This is
so bad.
I'm thinking about the lady who she lived in an apartment with her son who was going away to college, and he moved out, and she took masking tape and she divided the apartment down the middle, and then she rented out the other half of the apartment to some random person. And that person was not allowed in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And she put a little tiny refrigerator and a hot plate in his room, in his
That's
bedroom.
really funny.
And this lady,
Really funny.
the same lady that we're talking about now, she would go to Starbucks at the beginning of the week.
Okay.
And she would get a latte, a large, a venti latte, so the biggest size. She would drink 1/5 of it per day and put it back in the fridge. She would get it back out, reheat it, drink a fifth, put it back in the fridge. She would do this for 5 days. And when you saw the inside of the cup on day 5, there was a ring for like every day. You could tell where the coffee stopped. And Matt doing this with Mobile on the Run.
Mm-hmm.
Free coffee. I mean, we all take advantage of free coffee if we have the opportunity, right? I don't live near an On the Run, so I can't really go do it. It's out of the way for me. But it's a great thing.
Yeah.
But you got free coffee yesterday and you put it in the fridge?
Well, here's the thing. At On the Run, you can get up to 4 free coffees, and I can't drink that much coffee in one day. So while I'm there, I don't even walk out with the 4 because I know I won't drink that many. I walk out with 2 extra larges. I don't even drink that many. I can barely drink 1 extra large coffee a day. But, I've got 2 hands, so I'll take 2 coffees. They're free. I drank one of them yesterday. I'm like, I don't want to drink this other one today. I'll put it in the fridge because the great thing about technology and refrigeration is that it keeps everything nice and safe and tasting just as good as it did on the
Does
first
it
day.
taste just as good as yesterday, or does it taste like styrofoam?
It's not as good.
It's not as good. And here's the thing. The reason why I say this is I have a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it cheapskate or you just don't want to waste it. But I have put many a coffee in the fridge before. So what I will do is for later in the day, if I usually just get black coffee with cream, right? But if I get a latte, sometimes that's just too much sugar, too much milk. So I'll drink some of it in the morning, but then I'll save it in the cup for later in the day, then pour it in a mug because it's a latte, mostly milk, and heat it up, and I'll drink that. But even doing that, it's not as good. And I have tried not to waste. If I have extra pot, because extra coffee in my coffee pot, my dad doesn't like to waste coffee, so he'll drink coffee, make more, drink coffee, make more. If I don't like to waste coffee, so I'll put it in a mug and I cover it with saran wrap thinking, here's what I'll do. Tomorrow morning when I wake up before my run, I'll do a little bit of coffee. And I put it in the fridge. And I wake up the next day and I get it out. I'm like, it's gross. It doesn't taste the same. And I throw it out.
How often you do this?
I threw it out.
Is this to be cheap and save money?
It's to
not waste?
Not waste. If I always drink the whole pot of coffee. I mean, you guys know that. I drink a whole pot of coffee. But if for some reason I have coffee left in the pot, I have the best of intentions. I'll put the coffee in a mug, cover it with saran wrap, and think, I will drink some of this tomorrow. And if I even get myself to microwave it, I think it tastes terrible. I can't drink it.
Well, this is still a little bit different. You made it at home yourself.
It's
you
so
overmade.
different. Yeah.
This guy intentionally got 2 coffees.
It's so gross. I would
that
never
were
do
free,
that. Yeah.
and then put one of them in the fridge for later. It's like getting, and I do this a lot of times actually when I get Chinese food.
Yeah.
And I get takeout, I'll get maybe a couple of different things. I'll eat the other one tomorrow or, a couple of times this week, but you've paid for it. He's taking free coffee, which is clearly not good the next day. He puts it in the fridge and then drinks it the next day. This man is one step away from using his own hair as dental floss.
No respect. Don't get no
And
respect.
That's what the extreme cheapskates lady
It is.
did.
And I think it's the fact that you don't even put it in maybe like a canteen of some sort, like what you're drinking out of. Like a
why wouldn't
a mug.
you put it in?
Putting it in the same on-the-run styrofoam cup the next day for some reason is very off-putting.
I don't own a canteen.
What would you call that?
A
thermostat, thermal mug, thermos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just put-
You don't have a thermos?
I gotta be honest with you. To make it worse, the work microwave here, boy,
It tastes like onions.
it tasted like whatever the last person microwaved yesterday for dinner.
You microwaved it here?
Yeah. What do you mean? I had to heat it up
Why didn't you do it at home?
Why didn't you do it at home?
because I left the coffee in the fridge here because I knew I'd drink it here.
You left it in this
No,
fridge?
you did not.
My little mini fridge.
Oh,
in
your
the
mini
sports office,
fridge.
which only I
Okay.
have access to.
Okay, I get it. It's just
Wow, that's bad, Matt.
yeah, Matt. That's one of the cheapest things.
It's so much.
So
Come on.
What is your cheapest behavior? Let us know at 314-436-7900. Odyssey app, leave a voice message. I'd like to know. I don't have a whole lot of cheap behaviors. What I will do is if I do carry out and they provide plasticware,
Yeah.
I always put it in the drawer and then save it and then use it.
Use that.
To me, that's less
I never-
wasteful than anything
I
else.
never did that here until this company
However-
decided they were going to get rid of plastic forks.
However, here is a cheap thing that I've done with those plastic forks.
Oh.
Washed them.
I have.
No.
Not all the time.
That's worse.
Not all the time.
That's worse.
But I have taken a fork that I've kind of used, but not really.
Yeah.
And then I will rinse it off and put it in the drawer and then maybe use it
That's
again.
bad. That's terrible.
I have done that.
No, that's bad.
I've kept
That's
little
pretty
plastic
cheap.
shot glasses before, and like wash
Plastic?
those.
What do you mean plastic shot glasses?
Like, okay, I went to Buffalo Trace in Louisville not too long ago. They give you like little tasting, like little samples. You know, they gave a sample of it to you in a little plastic shot glass. I kept it as a keepsake. I ran it through the dishwasher so I could use it again.
Is it supposed to be thrown away?
Yeah, they're definitely disposable. They're plastic.
Well, don't put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
What? How's that any different than washing the plastic utensils?
Well,
I just
the
rinse those
dishwasher
off.
is hotter, yeah.
Yeah, dishwasher gets really, really
Ron,
hot.
that is pretty bad. Okay, a 618 says, I heard somewhere that if you heat up coffee, it could be carcinogenic. I feel like I've heard that too. I don't know why.
It might be.
It might be. And then 618 says cold coffee is the best. Add some ice cream. So here's the thing, though. There is a difference between iced coffee, cold brew coffee, and just like coffee that was hot that you stuck in the fridge and you pull it out of the fridge. That's so gross.
That's so disgusting.
It's so gross. And I'm not even a coffee snob. Like, I'm really not. I like Starbucks, and apparently that's dumb to like Starbucks. My coffee snob friends give me trouble for that. And but I like Starbucks and I like coffee. But the coffee that was hot that you put in the fridge and then you pull out and drink it cold?
That's really, there's no way that's
no
good.
Way.
A texter says Amrin's off-peak hours are 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. I always do laundry and run the dishwash during those hours. Probably not saving a lot, but I still do it. And another listener says, my mother-in-law used to wash out Ziploc bags and reuse them. That is extremely cheap.
I will say this, though. I will say this. It's not so much cheap, but it's also just very wasteful. So you can, A, buy reusable Ziploc bags, like on Amazon, where they're like rubber almost. B, I will say if it's like crackers or something that have been in a Ziploc bag, I try to use it more than once because it feels so wasteful to put pretzel chips in a bag and then go through the pretzel chips, there's some crumbs, and then throw it out and get a new bag. I think if you just dump out the crumbs, you can use it again for more chips. Yeah. And I have washed on our hiking trips with Noah. If we'll bring a handful of Ziploc bags. We'll reuse them for the trip. We wash them out. And then we throw them out after the trip.
You guys have nowhere to talk.
Well, mine is not as bad as yours.
Mine's not that bad.
Ron's is pretty bad.
That's
I've
not
never
that bad.
washed a plastic, like
I don't
rinsed
wash
it.
it. I just rinse it a little, like a little under. Because I didn't use it.
I will say this. Now, I don't know if Ron probably doesn't do this. Matt, you might. I am way too old to do this. Way too old. I still will shop in my parents' pantry sometimes.
Oh. You get food from your parents' house and take it home?
Can I have this?
That's.
Can I have these crackers? Can I have this? Do you have any of that really good soup? Can I have some of that? Yeah.
I don't do that, but my mom will have stuff at her house, and she'll say, do you want this? I'm not going to have it. And then I'll take it. Could be that.
Yeah.
Have you ever used a roll of toilet paper because you didn't? No, not you. You have too much toilet paper. I've had to ask for a roll of toilet paper. Like, I forgot I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I need to know if this is real or not. This text message says, we're talking about cheap behaviors. Reuse a Q-tip if no earwax came out the first time.
No.
There's no way you've actually done this or know anybody who's done
And
this.
by reuse, do you mean stick it in your other ear or do you mean put it back?
I thought they meant put it back and then tomorrow we'll get back at it. Please tell me you didn't actually do that. And also, you're not supposed to stick Q-tips in your ear because you will impact the wax into your ear. And then you have to go to the ear doctor and they have to get it out. They have to dig it out. You don't do that.
Put that in your book.
Yes.
I heard
oh my gosh! Here's
shoot water into your ear.
Another cheap behavior at home. If I use a paper towel to just dry my hands after washing, I let it dry and use it again.
Ew.
Okay,
that is gross.
Well, here, let me say this. Let me say
gross.
this. When it comes to washing the Ziploc bags or reusing a paper towel, there is an element of being green, not wasteful, environmentally friendly. To me, that's different, but there's no justification for getting 2 large coffees from On the Run, carrying them home, sticking one in the fridge. That's different. That's not being green.
No,
You
that
could
isn't
argue
green.
it's being greedy.
No, it is. It's, well, how much of this can I acquire so that I don't have to do this tomorrow?
If you had 4 arms, you would get 4 coffees.
Yeah, absolutely. It's free. Up to 4. Of course I would.
It's similar, but it's grosser, far grosser than Like, let's say some restaurant brings food here, and there's a big spread out in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you eat, and then after you eat, you then pile up a plate and you take it home. That's
yeah, I guess.
That's kind of the equivalent of what you've done, except yours is gross.
Did you see there's bad news regarding the Q-tip question?
Yeah.
They put it back.
This person says that they
No.
use the Q-tip and put it back if there's nothing on it.
No.
I
That's not
don't
how that
believe.
works. Even if there's no
I don't
visible
believe them.
earwax, there's oil and dead skin.
I don't believe them. I do not believe they do this. I think they're lying.
What if you
I think they're just doing it for effect.
What if you get a cut and then you put some stuff on it with a Q-tip, but that's the contaminated Q-tip? Boom, you're dead.
How cheap are you? Let us know. 314-436-7900 or the Odyssey app. Record a message and send it to us, you cheapos. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles your most trusted and #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2026. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis Service Valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com today. Based on GMA sales records for 2025. See dealer for details.
You know Graybar for electrical parts. But there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Graybar does that.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house? On the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hi, I'm Wendy Weiss, KMOX alum, and to everyone who's been a part of the KMOX legacy, congratulations on 100 years. 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 100 years.
Just looking at the text line, many of you, let's see, how would I put it nicely, are a bit parsimonious. Some of you are so cheap. Just really, really cheap.
We always say it's not cheap, it's excessive frugality.
Fine. Be frugal. Be tight with your money. Be judicious. Be cautious. Whatever you want, but you're cheap. And, my God, 314-436-7900. This text message here says, it's not me, but my son's friend. Okay, fine. My son's friend always goes to the local McDonald's and grabs a ton of napkins when he's out of toilet paper.
Ew.
Oh, those are...
You can't really flush those.
And they're kind of sharp.
Yeah.
They're the brown paper napkins. Those are sharp.
Are they?
You know
they are later.
When it
Oh, okay.
when it comes out of the paper dispenser,
Yeah.
that's a sharp, hard paper. I will say when I go to Starbucks, I will grab a couple of napkins, put them in the center console of my car.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Fine. That's fine because they give them to you. If you don't want to waste them, don't waste them, right?
I would like to read the 636.
Go right ahead.
Guys, we got to get Matt a raise.
Oh, yeah.
Poor guy stealing coffee and then saving the stolen coffee.
Well, it's not stolen. It's not purchased, but it's not stolen.
Do you get gas or anything when you're there, or you just
No.
walk in, get the coffee, and leave?
I walk and get the coffee. It's on my way.
So cute.
Here's the thing. I know On the Run is doing that because while you're going to get the free coffee, you're also going to buy a snack, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm not influenced by your corporate shenanigans. I'm getting my free coffee, and I'm in and I'm out. You can't influence me.
Corporate shenanigans. This guy.
Rigmarole. I love it.
This message from a listener. So once I needed to make a pair of shoes with holes in the bottom last a little bit longer, so I wrapped duct tape around them. Now, I've heard of people. I feel like I've seen people do that. And this message, these are two different behaviors.
Yeah.
One, I tell my wife to go to the restroom at work to save on toilet paper. Hey. Don't do that here. You wait till you get to work. What are you doing in there?
You better not.
You better not be. Just wait till you get to the office. Also, they cut open the toothpaste container to get as much of it as possible. I've seen people do that.
I've done that once or twice out of principle with some of these really expensive lotion containers where you can't get, I don't know, feels like 5% of the lotion is still in there, and it's expensive. And I've tried to cut it open to try to get some of the last remaining bits of face lotion.
Yeah, because for me, I don't think I've ever done that. I've known people who have, and it's almost like an emergency thing because you go to get the toothpaste and you go, oh, man, I don't have as much as I thought I did. You need it in the moment, so your only recourse is to cut the thing open and get what you can. And I'm sure everybody in this room has had the liquid hand soap, and then filled it with water,
Yeah.
and then shake
that.
it up a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you get what's left. And I've done it with shampoo. I've
I
done
had to
that.
do
I've
that
done it
with
with shampoo.
shampoo.
I usually just bring the bar of soap from the shower to the sink so I can wash my hands with that bar of soap.
Do you really, or are you
No.
just saying that?
I'm
Yeah.
Just
that's-
saying
I-
that because the bar soap is gross.
One of our messengers reuses aluminum foil, and it's a behavior they picked up from their
Yep.
mother-in-law who was in the Great Depression.
My grandma lived through the Great Depression, and she always kept her aluminum foil, would clean it, and then dry it, and then fold it
Oh, my God.
really nicely.
What are you doing,
But she lived
guys?
through the Depression. She never got a Christmas gift or anything her whole life.
Alan is calling us from Illinois. What do you got, Alan?
Well, I'll tell you what, styrofoam cups. I'm a scientist. I taught science at school, in high school. I'm now 76. I'm concerned about the environment. And styrofoam cups are everywhere. And we use them once, we throw them away. My wife and I will bring the styrofoam cups at home, to home, wash them, and reuse them until they're stained or cracked, and then we throw them away.
Is that healthy? Though? Like, I don't like styrofoam. Like, I don't trust it.
Alan, stop it. There's no way that's good for you.
Why?
Well, because chemicals in the styrofoam, it's going to end up in your body.
Yeah, I know, but what are we supposed to do? I'm sure there's a lot of other things that are bad for the body also.
Yeah, but you don't need to pile on.
Like drinking excessive alcohol, smoking dope, all kinds of harmful
Hey, what are you and
things.
your wife doing over there? What do your wife go?
We're recycling our styrofoam cups.
Okay. Well, Alan, you be safe out there, okay?
Hey, here's another one. My uncle was incontinent.
Okay.
So he'd wear one, and then he'd put it on the windowsill, dry it out, and wear it the next day.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
No, Alan, he did not.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, my God. Alan, Thank you, Alan. What? He would dry out the adult diaper and use it again? No way he did that. Not Alan, but Alan's uncle? No way.
I thought he was talking about a styrofoam cup.
No.
He was using the cup.
No.
It was
Amy,
the diaper.
He was reusing, not Alan. Alan's uncle was reusing.
I know, but I thought Alan's uncle was using the cup like a cup.
The adult diaper, he would put it on the windowsill and dry it out and use it again. That is the cheapest thing I have ever heard. I don't think you could top that. That's untoppable. If you can, let us know. 314-436-7900. Going to talk a little sports with Scott Warman from FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. Is that what it's still called? We'll find out when we come back on KMOX.
For 100 years, KMOX has been the voice of St. Louis, informing, entertaining, and connecting our community. Now, relive a century of service at KMOX100.com, a website that allows you to explore classic KMOX audio, rare photos and video, and the legendary voices that shaped St. Louis. Every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat lives on at KMOX100.com.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RAIN to get up to a $5 per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RAIN.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it is 44 degrees. It's pretty out there. Breezy, clouds giving way to more sun. A high of 47. Enjoy it while you can. Tonight, partly cloudy. A low of 22. Weather sponsored by the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Need a new garage door? Entries are open now for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorstlewis.com. Deadline to enter is the end of the month. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorstlewis.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Batting fifth and playing right field from the St. Louis Cardinals, Carlos Beltran.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, and it is time to go back to the guest line from FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. It is Scott Warman who is a studio host there, as the Cardinals have another Hall of Famer. Played a couple of seasons in St. Louis. That's Carlos Beltran, who yesterday at 5 o'clock was announced as a new entrant into the Hall of Fame. So we got that news yesterday. We have with us Scott Warman, who, first of all, we appreciate you being with us, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you?
Doing okay. And secondly, we probably are not doing nearly as well as Carlos Beltran, who is in the Hall of Fame. Is this an induction you agree with?
I do. He was a heck of a ball player, even with the Astros before he went to the Mets. And it kind of shows the sign of life of everything going full circle when you really think about it. I mean, in 2006, that's right, Adam Wainwright struck him out for the Cardinals to go to the World Series and win the World Championship. And then 6 years later, he's a member of the Cardinals organization, kind of trying to fill the bill, if you will, for a couple of years after Albert went to the Angels. But there's no question that I think Carlos had a fantastic career. But I know it's already the tires have been kicked, and I think rightly so, how our former partner over at FanDuel, Bally's Fox, Jimmy Edmonds, was pretty quickly out of the race as far as being considered for Hall of Fame nomination. And you look at Beltran's numbers, and you even look at Andrew Jones's numbers, so I think Jones is deserving as well, and how Jimmy got kicked out pretty quickly and didn't get that many votes. Is pretty perplexing to me, especially when you just look at some of the numbers that you compare to some of these guys. And I hope that somewhere down the line, people who have the wherewithal to make the power to handle it, Chris, gives Jimmy his just desserts, because Jimmy was one amazing ball player, just like Beltran and just like Andrew Jones.
Yeah, he can get in on that Veterans Committee or Golden Era, I suppose, later, whatever it's called, Golden Era still, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, so whatever that is, that maybe down the line that happens for him. But the Hall of Fame in general, I think there are... I still have my issues with it. I have an issue with the people like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, who were, regardless of the PED stuff, truly two of the greats in the sport, and there isn't even any doubt about that. The fact they're not in it annoys me very much. So a lot of times I don't get too worked up about who is in or out of the Hall of Fame just because of stuff like that. Do you think there will start to be sure. That one, to me, I would argue with you maybe a little bit on, just because I think betting on your own team, win or lose, is probably a bigger infraction than taking a performance enhancer, but that's a completely different conversation. But you've got these guys who are not in. Will you see a softening, do you think, that eventually we're going to see Bonds in the Hall of Fame and Clemens there and so on and so forth?
Well, I think part of your point is a point that I made, and we've had this discussions when I've hosted Sports Open Line before as well, is, look at the factors of what is the process of getting into the Hall of Fame. And I remember, this was over 10 years ago when we were hosting Sports Open Line, and I believe it was Greg Maddux was not a, overall, there was a couple of guys that didn't vote for Greg Maddux. Well, how can you do that? My whole point to this is the fact that it's an imperfect science to me. And you have people out there that are actually voting that should they actually be voting for the Baseball Hall of Fame? And to me, the other side of it is the fact, and I say this for all sports too, as well, especially when I covered the NFL for so many years, is why aren't especially the players that have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, why shouldn't they get a vote? Why do I see it's just simply writers? You're going to tell me that a guy, and I've made this point on KMOX before, is the fact that, and again, this is years ago, is you're going to tell me guys like John Rooney and Mike Shannon, who was alive at the time, or even a guy like Chip Carey, or, guys that have played the game, they, as broadcasters who cover the game on a day-to-day basis, they don't know and they can't have a say-so more so than the writers. So I think there is a system that needs to be figured out. I think it's a flawed system, and that's my own personal opinion, Chris. So yes, in parts I agree with you. As I've told you guys before, I've worked with guys who have played the game, and those especially during, as you were talking about, the Clemens and Bonds era. I don't understand why they cheated, because they were already great players, and that's what the former players will tell you. They didn't need to take that type of stuff because they were already great before that all happened. Before Bonds became arguably the greatest home run hitter in a single season, he was already a Hall of Fame player. And the same, to your point that you're making about Roger Clemens as well, Chris, I can't disagree with you on that.
This is just kind of along that line, though, and I'm not saying that players who took performance-enhancing drugs should or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. However, like Ron said, kind of drawing a line between betting on your team or throwing games or whatever versus taking PEDs, I find it a little interesting that if you went to any owner of any Major League Baseball team in the 90s and said behind closed doors, yeah, but deep down, do you wish the steroid era hadn't happened? That none of them would wish away the steroid era, because I think you could argue that the steroid era saved baseball after the lockout. And I feel like somehow I feel a little bit of hypocrisy that none of these owners would wish it away.
Right. I mean, you're exact. If you don't have the McGuire-Sosa chase in '98, baseball was lost after the '94 season. And if you recall back then, and it's been a while, that, they were literally, MLB was doing anything and everything it could to get anyone to take the games on national TV. And I think that's when I believe Fox first picked it up, was right after that, when we lost the whole season there. And so you're exactly right, Amy. I will make this point when you're talking about gambling, and there's 2 points, but one of them is the fact that, Chris, Pete Rose, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Pete Rose was caught betting while he was a manager, not an actual player, if I remember the story correctly.
That sounds right.
The other part is, to me, is the fact that we have all this gambling. We even have it on our show. It's gambling everywhere. And you're going to sit there and say, okay, you're going to take money from gambling, FanDuel, or whoever, fine, whatever, but a guy who, quote unquote, gambled, you're not going to let into the Hall of Fame who was the greatest hitter in the history of the game of baseball. It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I suppose, and not suppose, I mean, this is the way I feel about it is you can't, it's the one thing you can't do. And yeah, it's Major League Baseball, NFL, all these sports and leagues that are now in bed with gambling companies and are making money off of it. And we know the Cardinals and the Blues, they wanted sports betting to be legalized here.
Yes,
Kansas City Chiefs and the Royals, they wanted too. But here's the one thing. Sorry to the players, you can't do it. Like you can't do it when it has to do with your sport. It sucks that you can't take part, but that's the job. because you are a major league player or because you're a major league coach or manager and you have information others don't, you don't get to gamble. And yes, it's for everybody else.
I disagree with that.
It's just that to me, it's that simple. And sorry, you can't take part in it, but you can't. You know what I mean?
The Emmanuel Clase situation is a perfect example. And, people that I talk to, Chris, I don't know how many you've talked to, is the fact that I think it's just tip of the iceberg. I mean, we're even seeing this in college athletics now, too, where you have prop bets.
Yes.
And it actually involved a former SLU basketball player. And so, yes, I agree it shouldn't happen. But, there's a lot of pressure out there. You're a guy and somebody knocks on your door, rings the door, or rings your phone or taps you on the shoulder. You have an opportunity to make a whole hell of a lot of money. I'm sure there's guys out there that are going to be teased and tantalized to do something like that. And I'm sure that's been the case for several kids. And unfortunately, it may be more before it's all said and done.
Right.
And that's a part of it. But to get back to your point, Chris, yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
And there just has to be punishment. And all those guys involved, and it's too bad for them. You got to make an example out of them, though. The feds are coming after you if you participate in this, and we find out, and they will find out. It might take a couple of years, but they're going to find out, and you're going to be punished for it. So you do not want to be in trouble with the federal government. So that's
think about Jonte Porter, who's now he's no longer part of the NBA for what he was. Exactly. So, I mean, Silver put his foot down and said, we're not going to have this. Now, does that mean he's the only one? Probably not. But I hope it does. I hope it doesn't make a difference where your stature is in a league, because if you're one of the top players and you got busted for doing this, you should receive the same punishment as someone who's not as visibly known in your league. I think it should go, the punishment should be just straight down the line, no matter who you are, good or bad as far as the league is concerned.
I mean, the PED punishment in baseball is pretty harsh. And a lot of times it's guys who don't know that they're taking some supplement, something they think is helping them recover from a workout that they think is okay, and they do check on it because there's a website or a phone number they can call. And I believe it's with the union or the league. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe you know. And they can say, hey, this supplement, can I take this? And they will be told, yes, you can, or no, you can't. And sometimes they take something unknowingly and then they get popped for it. And, they're punished regardless. They have no recourse. The penalties are stiff. So, and I think they should be.
They stick by their guns.
The Blues. We even have time for the Blues. I think we have to go. Sorry, we got stuck on the PED conversation. Was going to ask you about the Blues. They lost in Winnipeg last night. But
would PEDs help the Blues now?
Yes, yes. Can we put everybody?
Maybe scoring more goals myself.
Would HGH help with that?
Scott, I'm not even gonna. I'm not even joking. My hard hitting analysis last week on Offside Hockey with Chris Kerber, and I did say, I was like, well, the Blues are just going to have to score more goals, which is such dumb analysis, but it's true.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Like, it's such a dumb thing. Even as I said it, I believed it because it's true, but it felt so dumb.
We can break down all the tape and everything, but you just need to score more goals. That's all it takes.
But the question is, yes, but how?
Yes, but how?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I felt like such a doofus, but it is. It's hard to win games.
Jordan Kyrou scored his first goal in 14 games last night. I mean, we're past the halfway mark, and our number one defenseman, Colton Parayko, hasn't scored a goal yet. I mean, this is just and then you beat Carolina and Tampa, two of the top teams in the East last week, and now things have gone south again. It's the most mesmerizing thing I have seen. I do think with the deterioration, especially of the special teams, that the loss of especially Robert Thomas, but also Suter, is starting to have an effect. I'm curious, and I know the guys didn't have any information, but Dylan Holloway, who I think is a huge part of the Blues, trying to get some offensive success, coming back on Sunday, but then he didn't play last night, and they didn't really have any reports to to go by, that's a little bit of a concern because I think that's important too. But I think, Robert Thomas plays in such, every phase, PK, power play, 5-on-5, winning faceoffs. He's the driver of this team. I've mentioned this several times, not only on KMOX, but I've mentioned on FanDuel as well. And he's not having the season just like Jordan Kyrou. But, I mean, just to put this into perspective, guys, we were having our meeting after the morning skate last Friday, and I was just adding this thing up when they were playing Tampa. And without Robert Thomas obviously on the roster, you added up our 5 top point getters, the Blues' top 5 point getters, which was 113 points at the time. Kucherov and Ginzel had 114 combined, their top 2 goal scorers. That kind of puts it, to me at least, a little bit more into perspective of the lack of scoring that this hockey team has had throughout the better part of the season. Sure, we can go back to the first month of the season. The goaltending wasn't sharp. Hofer's been terrific. Bennington has had his moments. You've had some defensive lapses, but overall, let's get back to Amy's analysis. You got to score more goals.
That's right. The Blues will play in Dallas on Friday. They host the Kings on Saturday. Scott Warman will be watching.
All right, buddy. Good to talk to you guys.
Scott Warman, FanDuel Sports Network Midwest. This is the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Were you feeling a little embarrassed when the family came to visit for the holidays and all you could think about was your bathroom not quite being up to par? Now is the perfect time to plan ahead for a spring installation of a beautiful new bathroom. At Michael's Baths, we specialize in beautiful, safe bathroom remodels from tub to shower conversions to full renovations, including paint and electrical work. Call 636-775-0800 or go to michaelsbaths.com. Mike is a great guy, does great work. That's michaelsbaths.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
Start your engine, St. Louis. The St. Louis Auto Show is back, and it's bigger, faster, and more exciting than ever. See the latest cars, trucks, SUVs, and electric vehicles, all at the Gamerica Center January 22nd through 25th. From cutting-edge technology to luxury rides and family favorites, this is the ultimate auto experience. Whether you consider yourself a car enthusiast or not, this event has something for everyone. More information at KMOX.com/events.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Audien Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. After suffering an injury, you may face many hard questions. What will tomorrow bring? Which firm should I choose to represent me and my family? At Morgan & Morgan, we will hold your hand every step of the way. From our one-click sign-up, mobile apps, and 24/7 availability, we make it easy to get your case started right from the comfort of your couch. All firms are not the same. The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Chris and Amy now. The Dave Glover Show at 1 on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Still hearing from you cheap bastards out there listening to this show,
Hey,
Chris and Amy.
Hey, those are our listeners.
Well, and they're cheap because we have people, for instance, this one, texting into the show saying saved small bits of soap, molded them together into one big piece to save money, and also saving cigarette butts and then using that to roll up cigarettes from them. How badly do you want to smoke?
Wait, so you smoke the butts?
I guess, or you put tobacco in those and then reuse them? That does. I don't know why you would do something like that.
Smoking.
Now, here's one who would take socks. Okay. You know how your socks will get a hole inevitably?
Big toe, usually.
So when the socks have a hole in the toe, I put the sock on the other foot. Say my sock has a hole in the big toe on the right foot. I take the sock off and put it on the left foot, where it will then be over the smaller toes.
That's smart. It's smart. It's less
Okay.
irritating over the smaller toes.
I love the texter who told us they grew up so poor that their mom told them the seafood department at the store was only for restaurant owners.
That's really smart. That's really smart. Oh, that's for, as a kid, I would believe it.
Well,
I would
how
totally
would you know?
believe it. Yeah.
Like, Mom, what about all the fish? No,
Yeah,
that's just for people who own restaurants.
Yeah.
It's Chris and Amy show. Hour 3 is coming up next. Feel free to continue to text and call and all that good stuff on KMOX.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduced stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
Dreaming of summer with this crazy weather? Me too. And nothing says summer like the Muni, which means it's officially time to start planning your nights under the stars. Good news, Muni season tickets are on sale now. The 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at only $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's 11 o'clock and we've got sunshine, 43 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. President Trump has spoken out about his desire to acquire Greenland as he addressed leaders attending the World Economic Forum in Switzerland.
After weeks of saying the U.S. will take Greenland either by buying it or using force, President Trump offered a somewhat different presentation.
We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that.
The president added ownership is the only acceptable solution.
You need the ownership to defend it. You can't defend it on a lease.
Trump repeated U.S. ownership is a matter of both national and global security. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Belleville police say the St. Clair County State's attorney has decided against filing charges against a woman accused of shooting her own nephew. In a case of mistaken identity, investigators found the 38-year-old came downstairs Monday night, saw a man with a hood and mask fighting outside with her 17-year-old niece. Fearing for the life of her loved one, she fired a shot, striking 18-year-old Tayden Dixon of Washington Park. Belleville police say she did not know that the person she fired at was her nephew, fighting on the front porch with his sister. A St. Louis man is charged with robbing a rideshare driver Monday. Police say the victim picked up 4 passengers. One in the back seat put him in a bear hug. Then they pushed him out of the car, beat him up, and took his car, crashed it into a power pole. 21-year-old Michael Cole Jr. waived his Miranda rights at the scene and admitted to being a passenger in the car. Righting a wrong decades later.
78-year-old Hezekiah Watkins teared up as he received a formal public apology from the city of Jackson, Mississippi. Watkins was wrongfully arrested at a bus station in Jackson in 1961 at the age of 13. He was the youngest of the Freedom Riders.
It's been a long time coming, and it has. I mean, not just for myself, but for all of us who risk our lives for individuals to have the type of life they have today.
Watkins was sent to a Mississippi state prison and held on death row for 5 days before he was released. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, 4 area chefs and 3 restaurants are semifinalists for the 2026 James Beard Foundation Awards in the Best Chef Midwest category. It's Lauren Nalick of Balkan Treat Box, Philip Day of Root Food and Wine in Augusta, El Molino del Sureste's Alex Henry, and Nick Bogar of Sato and Pavilion. Louie and Clayton nominated for Outstanding Hospitality. Robin and Maplewood up for Best New Restaurant. Vicia and Cortex is up for Outstanding Restaurant. Finalists will be announced in Chicago March 31st, and the winners announced on June 15th.
Sunny and breezy this afternoon, high 49. Breezy, colder tonight, clear early, some cloud late, though 21. Tomorrow, partly sunny, the high 40. Breezy, much colder Friday with clouds and limited sun, the high just 12, with AccuWeather real field temperatures below 0. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, sunny and 43 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. Renner Garage Door has you covered. Renner's been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. RennerDoorSTL.com.
RENNER. RENNER.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, we've been talking a lot about Greenland. More specifically, the president has been talking a lot about Greenland.
Or as he referred to it today, Iceland? A few times.
And everyone who watched the Mighty Ducks know that Greenland is ice and Iceland is very nice.
Yeah.
That's from the Mighty Ducks.
It was a tactic
That's
to
right.
keep people away.
Well, in all seriousness, it has been the talk at the World Economic Forum in Davos. A lot of European countries are not happy with the president right now, understandably. Well, recently, professor of law with Washington University, MJ Durkee, will be joining us today, about a piece about international law forbidding forcible seizure of territory. This was also in WashU, and recently MJ Durkee was speaking on this very topic. And so we welcome her in this morning, and thank you so much for your time. I'm sure this is, especially in your line of work, a big topic of conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm happy to be here and to chat about this today.
Now, you are, again, referenced in this piece in the Washington University newsroom looking at international law, looking at forcible seizure of territory. Can you kind of set the table on what we understand to be, well, the integrity of nations' borders and also their territory?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really easy question under international law, in fact, because international law is extremely clear. These are foundational rules. And the foundational rule is that military conquest is illegal. We find this in the UN Charter, which is the foundational treaty of the post-war legal order, the legal order that was established after World War II, that in fact the US was the main drafter of, the main architect of this legal order. So there's a treaty that's joined by the United States and 192 other countries. So it's binding on all of these countries, including the United States. And one of its most fundamental rules is that the use of force against another state's territory is prohibited. I'll give you the quote because it's really clear. Article 2.4 says all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. Like I said, this is the ABCs of international law, one of the most fundamental rules of the post-war order. No military intervention to violate the territory of a sovereign state, no regime change to violate the political independence of a state.
I know the answer to this is going to be obvious. So what was the intent of the United States making sure this language was set in?
Yeah, so the UN Charter is really fundamental. And in fact, it's been really beneficial to the U.S. So, like I said, in 1945, the U.S. designed the core institutions, the legal rules of the international system at a time when it held unmatched political, economic, military influence. So these rules setting forth the fundamental peace and security in the United States were meant to establish a post-war legal order that would be really good for the United States, that would enable the United States to rule through legal institutions, that would allow the U.S. to lock in favorable conditions without requiring constant enforcement by force. So the UN Charter is meant to encourage states to resolve their differences through peaceful means, through peaceful resolution of disputes, rather than resorting to military force. And the result is economic security, political security, stability, open markets, and so forth.
Does force, or is force, always defined as a military force? Can it be economic bullying, like threatening tariffs?
So under the UN Charter, the use of force, the prohibition on the use of force is aimed at military force, right? There's a definition under international law of what military force is when something rises to the level of an armed attack. But there are also international rules about illegal coercive actions, but they just don't rise to that level of UN Charter's fundamental prohibition on the use of force. Now, these economic measures can be used as a way to react to an unlawful use of force. So, for example, nations around the world have responded to Russia's invasion of Ukraine by using economic measures as countermeasures to punish Russia for this unlawful use of force.
MJ Durkee, professor of law with Washington University, is with us on KMOX. So this law is established, or these laws are in place to prevent against what, it sounds like the United States is considering doing, or at least throwing it out there, that it is a possibility that they could take Greenland for themselves if we want to do that. What is stopping us, though, really from doing it, even though this law is in place? Because we've seen this administration just kind of do what it wants, regardless of whatever laws say they can do.
Yeah, so there is a enforcement architecture that's in place under the UN Security Council. Unfortunately, that's not going to help much in this instance. So the architecture that's in place is the UN Security Council. It's the body that's responsible for maintaining international peace and security. It's the only legal organ that can make binding decisions on all UN member states, including authorizing sanctions or the U.S. Or the use of force. So in theory, it's the place where the international community goes to respond collectively to wars, invasions, threats to peace, and so forth. But unfortunately, in this case, it's not much help because the United States is one of the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council. And because of that status, it has a permanent veto. It has a veto over anything that the Security Council does. So any permanent member of the Security Council, like the United States, can block any resolution that the Security Council might make. So because that avenue of enforcement isn't available to us, what other means of enforcement are available? Well, other states could economically sanction the United States, use economic tools to try to respond. They could, this could weaken alliances. NATO could respond to this. In fact, if we violate the UN Charter's rules on the threat or use of force, other states would be lawfully authorized to counterattack, right? To use self-defense, to use collective self-defense, to call on allies to fight against the U.S. force. So those could be operating here. But really, I think what's really going on here is that, as I said, the U.S. is the architect of the UN post-war legal order, and it really benefits the United States in so many ways. It really has been a tool to make U.S. power internationally less costly. And so, if cooler heads are prevailing, the United States should be making a calculated decision that weakening this international legal order will be bad for the U.S. long-term interests.
Yeah, and it's the long-term consequences that concern me just as much as the immediate consequences, because you look at the breaching of norms. I mean, when I introduced you, I should have just said, hey, can Donald Trump do this? We need that question answered. Can he do this? Because the United States, which historically has been a pretty reliable partner and ally in this NATO alliance, could be one election away from being completely unreliable or fickle.
Absolutely.
How do we recover from that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so weakening the rules-based international order could really create a structural shift in how the United States exercises power over the long term that could be really costly for the U.S. over the long term if we don't pull back from this. So the post-war system allowed the U.S. to rule through rules, through institutions, through claims of legitimacy, rather than having to use constant coercion to accomplish our geopolitical goals. So if that system erodes, the U.S. becomes more responsible for protecting its own interests and enforcing stability directly, and this will be at far greater cost. We can think about military costs. We could think about very real economic costs, alliances. This order is protecting U.S. interests. The post-war order is partially about idealism, of course. The nations that were forming this post-war peace had these lofty ideals about peaceful resolution of disputes, sovereign equality of nations, self-determination of peoples. But there's kind of an irony here in the U.S. threats toward Greenland, because it wasn't just about these lofty ideals, but the UN system was a strategic tool that preserved U.S. dominance. So if we're weakening this system to serve immediate interests, we're dismantling the system that allows us to be a superpower on the world stage.
So I know some people I've heard who are in defense of the current administration. I've heard them say, well, Denmark's claim to Greenland isn't even that strong anyway, so we could do it if we want to do it. Is that the case?
Yeah. Greenland does have a special status. It's an autonomous region, but it's part of the Kingdom of Denmark, and Denmark is a fully sovereign state. So this makes any invasion of Greenland an attack on the sovereign nation of Denmark, and this puts it squarely under the protection of Article 2.4, with the right to territorial integrity and political independence. So while Greenland does have an extensive self-government, it doesn't have a separate international legal personality for the sake of international law. To that, we look to the Kingdom of Denmark. So not only would an invasion violate the rules because it violates the political independence and territorial integrity of the Kingdom of Denmark, but there's other laws that are invoked because of this special status of Greenland. An invasion would violate Greenland's right to self-determination. And this was also enshrined in Article 1 of the Charter. International law is very clear that peoples have the right to decide their political future free from external coercion. So an invading power cannot lawfully claim that it's acting on behalf of the Greenlanders or has no constraints to acting on Greenlanders unless there is consent by those Greenlanders. Clear, genuine, freely expressed consent to this action.
So let's say the United States goes through with this. Nobody stops them. We assume Greenland one way or another. It's ours now. Are they all now immediately under our laws? Do they have their own still? That seems like a lot that we would have to navigate. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so there are international laws on occupying forces as well. The Geneva Conventions regulate what we are permitted to do and give Greenlanders specific rights. So we certainly would have to comply with those international laws as well, or again, face enforcement action and face the erosion of this rules-based system that we helped to establish.
I guess a question I would have, all of the arguments that the president is making, we want Greenland, we're going to take it. Why would Vladimir Putin and Russia, with their claims in Ukraine, and China and its claims over Taiwan, why would they not use those exact same arguments?
No, you're absolutely right here. You're absolutely right. So in the end, claims like the ones the current administration is making based on strategic interest, resource access, geopolitical necessity, and they don't qualify as justifications for the use of force. And the necessity, some claims of necessity, like that taking Greenland is vital to our national security, cannot override this core prohibition on the use of force. And what we've seen in past conflicts is that Russia and others have actually justified their activity based on legal arguments, right? And so if we are not if we're not bothering to justify our own intervention on legal arguments, but talking instead about our own national interest and national security, this gives everyone else in the world license to do the same. And again, it erodes these fundamental norms that help keep open markets, free-flowing supply chains, lower investment costs globally, and they make security, individual and collective security, more expensive.
MJ Durkee, professor of law with Washington University. Thank you for talking with us today. This was really informative.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. You're listening to 104.1 FM KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina. Your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Before he became one of the most celebrated broadcasters in America, Bob Costas launched his remarkable career right here at KMOX.
I was 22 years old when I came to KMOX.
Costas called play-by-play for the Spirits of St. Louis, hosted Open Line, and covered Mizzou basketball, all while honoring the sharp wit and subtle comic timing he displayed as a semi-regular on The Carney Show.
Jack Carney, he introduced me to the St. Louis audience beyond the basketball games that I was calling.
His 7 years at KMOX set the stage for a legendary national career. From hosting 12 Olympic Games to winning 29 Emmy Awards, Bob Costas has become one of the defining voices of American broadcasting, always proudly connected to the city where it all began. Bob Costas, a KMOX pioneer.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
It's about time pros had one partner for the whole job. Why juggle 10 different suppliers when one can do it all? At the Home Depot, you'll save with pricing built for pros. You'll stay on track with job site deliveries, schedule, next day, or same day. And you'll get every size, every finish, every job lot quantity you need. One partner for the entire job. That's how pros get more done. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at Amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX, my official sportsbook as well. And they have turned on playoff mode. All customers of FanDuel can get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. So each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. And more boosts just means more ways to level up your playoff bets. So pick the matchups you believe in if you like winner or loser or just the point spreads. Maybe take a shot on an upset. I'm actually looking at the under in a couple of opportunities this week. You could build a parlay that fits the moment. However you want to do it, it's up to you. And then you apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs continue to roll. So visit FanDuel.com/Missouri and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Remember, 21 or older and present in Missouri to play. Opt-in is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token, and restrictions apply, including any token expiration or max win wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hello, St. Louis. Proud son of St. Louis, John Hamm here, wishing KMOX a happy 100th birthday, a centennial of being the voice of St. Louis.
Have you heard of friction, Maxine, Ranj?
I have now.
Well, you're welcome. I'm going to read part of the beginning of this piece from Catherine Morton in The Cut, New York Magazine. It's titled, "In 2026, We Are Friction, Maxine." And you may think, oh, what is this? And yes, everything just has a name now. Life has a name. But I really like what she has to say about the role of our phones and AI and technology in our lives. She says, "Over the past few months, I've been thinking about how the idea of escapism has become redundant. As the world has become increasingly oriented away from life itself and towards forms of distraction and compulsive avoidance, there really isn't much use in escaping. Tech companies are succeeding in making us think of life itself as inconvenient and something to be continuously escaping from, into digital padded rooms of predicted algorithms and single tap commands, meaning reading is boring, talking is awkward, moving is tiring, leaving the house is daunting, thinking is hard, interacting with strangers is scary, risking an unexpected reaction from someone isn't worth it, speaking at all is overrated. These are all frictions we can now eliminate easily, and we do." And Silicon Valley has decided that most people would prefer not to be human. They said, Silicon Valley says, that we've demonstrated this through our revealed preferences in the way we use apps that were being sold. And she goes on to say, and that's why they're making these apps, and they'll continue to invest as much money as possible in, quote, friction elimination tools that effectively dehumanize users.
Yeah, so basically people need to have a little bit of difficulty every now and then, and it's okay to have some of that, but tech companies see it the other way. They say, oh, no, you have all of these challenges in your life, and we need to help you make sure everything goes smoothly all the time, and you never have to worry about anything and have zero hardships, even if they're minor.
Yes, but it goes further than that, because what she is saying is tech companies have convinced us that life itself is a hardship. You know, a real hardship is not making a phone call and ordering pizza or walking out the door or clicking twice versus clicking once. And I think that's the whole point. She said it's infantilizing adults, and we don't even have a word yet for what it's doing to kids. And so she said she is committed to make 2026 a year of friction maxing, mean she wants to be an individual, a human, and have human experiences like reading and having to discipline yourself to plow through a book when you're bored, or going on a walk without listening to anything. She said even don't text or type into ChatGPT and ask for a recipe. She goes, stop using ChatGPT. Buy a cookbook. Call a friend. Go to Trader Joe's. Do something to put some kind of effort into finding a recipe, even planning your trip. Don't have ChatGPT plan your trip. Do some research. Buy a book. And then she even suggests increasing friction by inviting people over to your house.
You know, there's another end of this, too, where people don't want friends. And this isn't always true, but sometimes it happens. Have you ever had somebody, you've asked them how to do something, like, hey, what is this thing, or how do I do this? And they say, well, just look it up. Just Google it. Just do it for yourself, right? Instead of having me explain it to you. So there's another end of this where people don't want to help. They don't want to have to help you. Like, why should I explain to you how to make spaghetti? You should know. Google it if you don't know. Well, that's why she said
buy a cookbook. Basically, she's saying do anything but ChatGPT. You don't have to turn to your friends for anything.
Well, I'm saying that there are people who don't want to be inconvenienced by anybody asking them how to do anything.
Yes, but then what I'm saying is you can still, if let's say I have 0 friends, I can still do what I did when I was a teenager when I wanted to play hockey and knew nothing about the sport. I went to the library and I got a book on hockey and I wrote down by hand all the pieces of equipment I needed to buy. That's the type of thing she's talking about. It's not necessarily just about getting help from friends.
I got that.
Yeah, and she said she used to get annoyed when parents would humble brag about how much their children loved to read. And now she's thinking, well, wait a minute. I would love if my kids loved to read. How do we do that? And so even going on a family road trip without screen time, I think there's something to be said for that because, like I've said, it's so easy for me to pick up my phone that I do have to be disciplined to read a book or to journal. Thankfully, this is someone who likes to write by hand. So I can't imagine if you didn't like to do it. It's hard for me.
Let us know about your life as maybe you are reaching that midlife part of your existence. And artificial intelligence is becoming so pervasive and has in the last 2 to 3 years really overtaken our lives in a lot of ways. You can either adapt with it or you can let it not literally kill you. It's an adapt or die situation. How are you adapting or not? Let us know. Let us know by texting us at 314-436-7900. Are you moving with the times? Are you still pushing back against it? How are you handling this era? Because it is a lot to navigate for a lot of people. 314-436-7900 or on the Odyssey app, you can leave us voice messages. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
January in St. Louis isn't for hot takes. It's for people who know the game. From Cardinals spring training and NFL playoffs to the transfer portal and the Blues playoff push, the Gas House Gang breaks it all down. Ackerman, Ranchi, Miklas, and Claiborne have covered it all, and they break it down the right way.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Daily at noon on 104.1 FM KMOX, America's sports voice. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It is sunny in St. Louis and 44. Chris Pronger. 47 will be the high today, a low of 22 tonight. The weather brought to you by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles your most trusted and #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2026. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis Service Valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com today. Based on GMA sales records for 2025. See dealer for details.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Were you feeling a little embarrassed when the family came to visit for the holidays and all you could think about was your bathroom not quite being up to par? Now is the perfect time to plan ahead for a spring installation of a beautiful new bathroom. At Michael's Baths, we specialize in beautiful, safe bathroom remodels from tub to shower conversions to full renovations, including paint and electrical work. Call 636-775-0800 or go to michaelsbaths.com. Mike is a great guy, does great work. That's michaelsbaths.com.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURYlaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Swing and a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Among those voices, Dan Deerdorf.
Good football town with a lot of good football fans, and they deserve better than to have both of our teams lead.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Well, it is Wednesday, so it's time for our midweek, midday, midlife. We need to hear from you today. Today's conversation is about AI, ChatGPT, artificial intelligence. 314-436-7900. You can call or text.
And you can also continue to tell us, because we have been talking about it for a little over an hour and a half, what your cheapest behavior is.
Yes.
Because we've had a lot of people tell us things, and really it just amounts to them being poor as children, which is, that's pretty common for a lot of people. Don't necessarily mean that. Just stuff that you do that's really cheap that you don't have to, but you do it anyway.
Right, because I do think there's being frugal, there's being green, and sometimes those can be transposed for being cheap when it's not.
Right.
And that's why I do think if you want to be careful with your use of plastic bags, that's just being green.
Yeah.
But going to On the Run and getting 2 giant coffees for free and then refrigerating them and heating them up the next day.
That's what Matt Pajeski does.
It's neither green.
And reheating it and putting it back in the styrofoam cup that it came in yesterday.
It's called being smart with my money.
Well, that's what Pajeski's friends who have texted him, he sent us a screenshot on a group text. And he's like, well, look at my friends. They're sticking up for me. And one guy says...
I don't sound like that.
Kind of. One guy says, well, that's just a good use of free coffee.
Yeah.
And another guy says, why would you get roasted for that? That's super smart.
Of course it is.
Not
letting it go to waste.
It is not super smart.
I do.
Pretty smart.
You know how you worked at Dick's Last Resort?
Yeah.
Where you're mean to people?
Right.
I think you should open a coffee shop like that, and it's called Boom Roasted Coffee.
Okay.
Boom
that's not
Roasted.
bad.
That's
that's
pretty
not bad.
good.
All right.
I think that's a really good idea.
It could be a chicken place, too. They could open a chicken place.
That's Boom Rotisserie.
Okay.
Going back to the topic at hand, our midday midlife. So I was speaking with my brother yesterday and asking him about AI, and he's in IT. And of course, he is forced to use AI and work with AI in different capacities. But he has some pretty niche IT jokes about AI that, one, I don't understand, and two, wouldn't translate over radio, but it has to do with coding and so forth. But he and his buddies do talk about it. And there's a new app, and he saw this, where a woman is just talking to AI and asking it, hey, let's call him Gemini or ChatGPT, can you transfer $3,000 from my savings account to my checking account? And I know that I have a banking app, And I know that banking app uses AI because everything does. But my brother said for some reason to him, he wouldn't be comfortable with being able to just use AI to say that sentence and have the money transferred from one account to the next. He goes, I know AI is out there, but that felt a little too freewheeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it that all that information's out there, but I don't necessarily, and I don't know if it was ChatGPT. I think it was a special AI app like ChatGPT where you can just talk and say, hey, AI, transfer this money from this account to another. And I kind of got it where I felt like, ugh, I like to do that a little bit more manually.
So this is your brother who didn't like it?
They were just talking about how AI has permeated every aspect in life,
right,
and where some areas we may almost arbitrarily draw a line. And he said, I just felt weird thinking, I'm not sure I want to talk to my phone and tell it to transfer funds. Even clicking on a button feels a bit more manual.
Even though all that information is already on your phone, there's just something,
Right.
there's a next level, an extra
And I think
something.
it was a special app. Because I can't do that with Bank of America. I don't think. I don't think I can just talk to my Bank of America app. I know there's AI because now on the corner of every app, there's a little,
the little AI kind of, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And I do use mobile banking, and my dad is even, more old school, where he would rather go to a bank. Like, if I'm going to make a deposit, I'm going to make a deposit. I can use my phone, take a picture, and deposit.
Yes,
on the app.
I am 100 times out of 100 doing
Yeah.
the phone
Yeah.
deposit with a check.
And a lot of people are, because I feel like there aren't as many banks as there used to be. I'm not sure. I don't know. I understand how there are certain things I don't want to use AI.
Mm-hmm.
I told you we talked to Nicole Perlroth of the New York Times. She wrote a book, This Is How They Tell Me the World Ends. And after she wrote the book, which talks about 0 day, which is the tech equivalent of nuclear apocalypse, where Russia shuts down our grids and system and we shut down theirs. And she said currently there is already mutually assured destruction. All of our information's out there, and it's too late. And she had to get therapy and counseling after writing the book because it made her paranoid. I understand that. But I also feel like if I can take little steps, even if they're placebos, to make myself feel a little bit more protected, I'm going to do it.
And that's okay to do that. I think that at some point, we're all going to have to just kind of, and you don't have to adopt every single behavior or every single technology, but you I personally try really hard not to completely dismiss anything new out of hand because it's new and because it's unfamiliar. I try to always think through all of these things. Okay, well, is this actually useful? Why would it be good for me? Why is it good for society that we have this thing or we don't have something, or I try to push back against it? I always try to be open-minded because I don't want to be one of those people who is 85 and is having to call everybody that I know who's younger than me and go, how do I do this? What is this thing? Can you help me? I just don't want to be that because technology will continue to get better, and it will happen exponentially and will happen quickly. If you think about all of the technology that happened from year 0 to like 1950, there was a pretty incremental increase, and then everything exploded, and exponentially we got all of this brand new technology within decades, which is far and away greater than anything we've ever had in the past. And it happened in a really short amount of time. So I know that will continue to happen over the next years of my life. I don't want to be in my 80s and not know how to do anything for myself.
On a simple level, do you use, and Matt, if your buddies use this too, do you use ChatGPT for simple things like recipes? Or my friend went on a trip, wanted to go to Japan, went to Japan, and he just said, I asked ChatGPT, said, here's my budget, I have 10 days, write me an itinerary. And then they could kind of say, I want more emphasis on mountains or cities. I just had ChatGPT, uses it for trip planning all the time. Have you ever done it like that?
I have a friend that uses it for vacation planning, yeah.
Yeah.
For big trips overseas, yeah.
And does it work for them?
I really don't know. I should follow up.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if they like it or if they ended up with stupid plans.
Yeah. How dumb would you feel if you go on a plan that ChatGPT told you to go on and you didn't like it? Like, I would just feel like the biggest dolt in the world because I went on a plan that I went on this trip that, AI told me to go on. I would feel like such an idiot. Like, decide for yourself what you want to go do or not do. Don't you think?
Yeah, well, yes, but if it's somewhere that you don't know, and you kind of want to know, like, what would the locals do? What's the good spot? I want to stay away from the tourist trap kind of place. Maybe ChatGPT can help with that. If you don't know a local or you don't know somebody who's got experience with the place, I don't know what else you do.
Don't you feel like that information's already out there online outside of AI? I mean,
yeah, probably.
There's YouTube videos of real people talking, and there's videos of people who live in Japan who can tell you what to do and what not to do.
I also think, for me, everybody knows the cliche that writing is thinking. And if, as Kurt Vonnegut said, if you can't write something, then you don't know it nearly as well as you thought you did. If you can't write something, your thoughts aren't nearly as good as you think they are. And I do think that going through the process of planning a trip, for instance, and trying to work through your days, that exercise is so much more than just making a schedule. It really does create whether it's a familiarity with what you will be doing, but also helps you plan on, is this something I really want to do? You've put thought into it. This is such a basic concept. I feel so goofy saying it, kind of like telling the Blues to score more goals, that when you actually put any type of brain activity or intellectual effort into planning or researching something, it's a much deeper process. It's a much deeper understanding and experience with that topic, even if you're reading a book and taking notes by hand.
See, and for that's why you probably need to do the handwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with planning a trip, I can see why artificial intelligence ChatGPT might be a better thing to do, because you don't really need to know the subject matter. You just need somebody to tell you, hey, what's a good place for me to go to?
Well,
or how can I best utilize my time in a country that I am completely unfamiliar with?
My hiking trip, I had never looked at researching like the Sierra Nevadas and Yosemite. I easily spent 50 hours researching and planning this trip like every single day, because I planned big hikes, but also because we were going at a very early in the season. There was still snow, and you had to have reviews of if the trail was even accessible. But I felt like because I did that work, I knew what I was getting into. I was familiar with the different reviews and photos that I don't know that ChatGPT would have just pulled that up. It would have said, yeah, this is a great place to hike, versus when you dig really deep, that hike wasn't even accessible on that day.
And I will tell you, I mentioned this during yesterday's show, when things like this happened, and I think I've talked about it a couple of times, where the artificial intelligence, the AI result from a simple Google search, which they use Gemini is Google's AI, when it comes back with a result that I know to be extremely wrong, and there isn't any question about how wrong the result is, that then makes me question every result they ever give me. When I typed in, give me a famous St. Louis athlete who wore number 40, and they came back with Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith? It's again...
I don't know how it came up with that.
I think there was a list somewhere where they had him number 40 out of 50 for something. I don't know what it was. So maybe it was that. But it was the very top result, right at the very top of the page. It said famous St. Louis athlete who wore number 40, Ozzie Smith, shortstop. And no, he did not wear it. In fact, if you want to name all of the players in the history of the city in any sport, Ozzie Smith's number 1 is probably the most well-known number of any player ever in this city. Everybody knows number 1. Everybody knows that it belongs to him. So, I mean, the fact that it came back with something so painfully and terribly obviously wrong, it makes me think, well, what else does it not know? That's a very simple fact that they should have no trouble coming back with a correct answer. So if they can't do that, how are they going to plan a trip for me? Right?
You don't even know Ozzie Smith's number.
I mean, if you have all the information in the history of the world and now you don't get that right, okay, yes, tell me what are the best places for me to go to and stay when I go to Belgium. Yes, I trust you on that. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX, and you know that coming up is Conference Championship Day. It's, again, like all of these weekends that are happening here in January. It's like all of them are some of the most fun sports weekends of the year. You had the wild card round, the divisional round, and FanDuel has turned on playoff mode for all of them and is doing it again this Sunday during the championship round. They are giving away all customers a Profit Boost pack for every NFL playoff game day. So that means you're going to find a pack on Sunday loaded with multiple profit boosts. So more boosts means more ways to level up your bets. And you are going to pick the matchup you believe in. Maybe you do that. Maybe you want to go with a parlay. Maybe you just like the underdog. Maybe you like the favorite, like me. I like Seattle to win against the Rams at home. Then you can apply your profit boost and try for an even bigger payout. FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get your Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Got to be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable Profit Boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
In St. Louis, the weather can change in an instant. One day, you're under a thunderstorm warning. The next,
oh boy, it's snowing.
Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws your way. When weather threatens, the KMOX Storm Center has expert forecasts and live reports here to keep you safe and informed. Don't get caught off guard. Know your weather. Sponsored by
Saliga Heating and Cooling.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live. It's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour and complimentary lunch, or to learn more about our upcoming App University that can help enhance your everyday life. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Start your engine, St. Louis. The St. Louis Auto Show is back, and it's bigger, faster, and more exciting than ever. See the latest cars, trucks, SUVs, and electric vehicles, all at the Gamerica Center January 22nd through 25th. From cutting-edge technology to luxury rides and family favorites, this is the ultimate auto experience. Whether you consider yourself a car enthusiast or not, this event has something for everyone. More information at KMOX.com/events.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
When I was a kid, I was poor, too. When I was a kid, everybody was poor. No rich kids, only poor kids, that's all. But I was poor. I was so poor, my rich aunt died in a will. I owed her $20.
Leave us voice messages on the Odyssey app like Jeff in Crystal City did. Yes.
When we were kids in Michigan, we grew up so poor that my dad took us to Kentucky Fried Chicken on Sundays to lick other people's fingers.
Ew. That's gross.
Well,
you didn't.
Okay.
Okay. Gross.
That's awesome.
That's worse than Matt's coffee.
You know, that's what I do. I just go ahead and I grab people's fingers and I.
Nope. Nope.
I can't. Should I not do that? We've been asking you what your cheap skate behaviors are. And again, we're talking about those behaviors you don't really need to do, but you do them anyway to save a little bit of money.
A314 says, my dad drinks 2.5 beers a day, sometimes 3, but he will save the half and put saran wrap on it and put it in the fridge for the next day.
I'm sorry, say that again?
My dad, this is a texter, not my dad drinks 2.5 beers a day, sometimes 3, but he will save the half and put saran wrap on it.
Okay.
And put it in the fridge for the next day.
No.
Doesn't beer not work that way?
Beer doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Soda doesn't work that way. That's what the carbonation is there for a reason. And it goes away if it See, that's really bad. That's really bad. Here's a message for both of us. It says, why do you feel the need to tell Matt how to get his coffee and drink his coffee?
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, do you not have enough to do with your own lives?
I like this person.
Yeah,
You've got 3 to 4 hours a day to kill 5 days a week. It's a talk show.
Yeah, it took 5 seconds for us to judge him in the office.
But it felt like 3 hours.
Well, yeah, it usually does when you get caught doing something stupid.
Smart, I like to call it.
Well, okay. That is one way to do it, I suppose. Putting a beer back in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think when I was a kid, I'm sure that we maybe cans of Coke, like if a Coke can didn't get all the way drunk, they would put it back in the fridge. But that's...
I'm going to read part of this text just for the phrasing. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
A 618 says, I am an ancient 65. I use AI for convenience like finding hotels, but I text via fingers.
Wow. Gas House Gang is coming up next. Tom Ackerman, the national champion, he is going to be with me. We hope that you will stick around for that. This show, the Chris and Amy Show, however, will be back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And if you missed anything today, you're just going to go back to the Odyssey app and listen there, or the iHeart app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Chris and Amy Show. But you do want to have the Odyssey app on your phone so you can listen to us live and listen to Cardinals baseball live. Coming up next, Gas House Gang on KMOX.
Charles Dickens, my favorite guy, might have used Firkins to clean his chimney.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by